Hey, I wasn't actually sure if you were gonna show up. I'm really glad you did, though. Oh no, these are just the people passionate enough to show up early and help set stuff up. The bulk of everyone else will probably start showing up in the next half hour or so. I don't know. It could be as many as a couple hundred, maybe? I was really shocked by the size of our last turnout, and that was 40, 50 people. I know that doesn't seem like a lot given same size, but it felt massive. It felt impactful, especially when considering that the whole thing started with me getting angry on my cousin's behalf and ranting my heart out over lunch one day. Yeah, I guess the menu that day was burgers with a side of righteous indignation. Honestly, I'm hoping I can incite change. Or, I guess, more accurately, I want to incite the passion that can then lead to change. Too many people don't care about what vampires have to go through. Too many more don't even know. Too many people are just happy to continue living their lives because it's an issue that doesn't touch them. And that makes sense. It does. Hell, I was one of those people. People have a finite amount of energy, both emotional and physical. And then when you take into consideration theories like circles of friendship and social baseline theory, and then you add in boundaries that people need to set for their own mental and emotional health, unless this touches someone directly, the chances of caring beyond base human compassion are slim. And human compassion has a hard limit. It's just how we're wired. It's a self defense and preservation mechanism. We can only care about so much for so long. And that's okay, it's normal. But I really hope I can convince people to make this one of the things that make it to the short list of things they care about. And that they'll care about it long enough to do something to make it better. Because if I can do that, that's when change actually happens. Well, yeah, you could call it that. I mean, if you're asking me pie in the sky, in my wildest dreams type of goals for this, I want to make a presentation about it to the assembly. I want to be able to take my case directly to them about the inequalities and injustices vampires are suffering. And if I can do that, then I make it to national Lucent news. And then enough people will see it and care that things might actually change. Because God knows the assembly itself won't do shit. I mean, it's not like the assembly's even actually looking out for vampires. Did you know vampires are the only magical people on the assembly whose elections function differently from ours? We all get to elect a representative, right? Like, I vote for the air wielder seat for Sarley. So I have faith that my specific needs and desires as an air wielder are represented. Or at least have the chance to be. Vampires? They don't function like that. I don't even know the last time they had an election. For the most part, their seats are filled by Primarchs, and only the Primarchs are allowed to vote. From what I've been able to piece together, that's all due to charters established when the Assembly was founded. And they weren't initially even going to allow vampires to vote at all, and this was some sort of compromise. Talk about playing with a stacked deck and the privilege of the few, right? Even if the vampires wanted to change it, they can't. They're only one voice, one vote in the assembly against all the rest. And too many people are just too prejudiced, too blind, or both. I just want things to be better for everyone. That's why I organize these. Who's gonna listen to a vampire who says the system is biased against them when they aren't personally experiencing it? But if someone from outside the cycle steps up and speaks up, there's a higher chance of that message carrying. And something like this needs to. It deserves to. There are people who would say that what I want, the goals that I have, are ridiculous, that they're impossible. But things are only impossible until they're not. Oh, thanks. I'm not doing it for the praise, though. I'm doing it because it's the right thing to do. And short of running for the air wielder seat for Sarley, which I have no intention of ever doing, I absolutely do not want a job in politics. I figure this is the best way to get my voice out there and help where I can. Speaking of figuring things out, how are you settling in? Maymester gets going next week. Are you feeling ready? It is, but the school is honestly full of really great people who want to help and want to see you succeed. Even the faculty is truly top-notch, as much as some of them could probably do with a fresh perspective on certain things. They really aren't bad people, and they definitely aren't bad professors. Just sometimes it's easier to continue with a system that's been around forever than it is to dismantle it and subsequently rebuild it. Why fix what you don't think is broken, right? But just because it isn't broken for you doesn't mean it's working properly either. But even with that, I couldn't imagine attending any of the other universities. Same as home. An occasionally slightly dysfunctional home, but home all the same. It's where everyone is rooting for you and trying to help you succeed. It's a place where it's safe to make mistakes and to not know things. Where it's okay to be completely, wholly, authentically yourself and test your limits and your boundaries, because everyone here will always have your back and help you get back on your feet if you ended up flying a little too close to the sun in the process. Like, if I'd even thought about putting on a protest like this at Stanton, I'd probably be drummed out. But here, I've had to deal with a little bit of administrative stuff, but nobody has told me I'm wrong to do it. That's okay too, you know? Feeling uncertain about it, wondering if you even belong. That's normal in a new situation like this. And it isn't mutually exclusive from being excited and thrilled and curious and just ready for it. I'm sure you've heard it a lot by now. And I'm pretty sure I said it. Or if I didn't, I meant to. I tend to pop off and forget what I intend to say otherwise half the time. This situation is huge for you. It's a lot of upended reality, but it's also literally a whole new world of everything. Of opportunities, of history, of social interactions, and a way of life. Feeling all sorts of ways about it all at once, or having that pendulum swing? Totally normal. I can't think of anyone who would feel any differently. Even the most confident person walking into this, someone who just grabs everything by the horns regardless of circumstance. Well, hell, even they would still probably have days they doubted themselves. Don't let anyone who grew up lucent tell you otherwise. And don't let them shake your confidence either. Most of us know a handful of relucent people. You aren't that rare, don't worry. So we know to fill in gaps in information for you where we can. But a lot of times, by this point in our lives, we forget, since most relucent people are discovered by the time we're all in middle school. Just because we forget you don't know doesn't mean we don't want to help you. It literally just means we forget that you don't know. And it's also okay to feel unsure to ask. I can only imagine stepping into a situation where I'm treated like I should know everything while knowing almost nothing. I don't know how I'd feel for certain, and I won't pretend to try. I might dive right in and ask all the questions I could ever think of, and another million that develop as I go. Or I might be too nervous, or more in line with my own personal shortcomings, too prideful and stubborn to ask. Never let it be said that I don't know who I am. Oh shit. We're getting close to needing to finish setup. Fair warning, things unexpectedly got a little out of hand last time we held a protest. An agency agent showed up. Things got a little heated, but it all ended well. They did require me to file some additional information and permit requests before this one, so hopefully things will stay a little more in line. Feel free to stick around as long as you like, as close to the heart of it as you'd like. And don't worry, I don't expect for that to be long. I know this is a lot. But maybe we could get lunch at some point next week? Catch up and touch base, both about your classes and about whatever your takeaway is going to be from today? Cool. I guess come stop by the bookstore next week whenever you're free. I'm there Monday through Friday, and I work the noon to 4 shift. Perfect. I can't wait. I'll see you then.